3 states, a busted window, and a heat that nearly cooked us. The run from South Australia to Victoria was a long one, and not without its issues. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Shane, and this is Office to Outback. In this episode, we're making a big push across Australia in our Ford Ranger and Stony Creek camper to make it into Victoria, and things don't quite go to plan on this leg. With some temperature issues and running repairs, it made for an interesting journey. Alrighto, that's enough about me. Let's find out exactly what happened in this episode. So, whilst we made it, let me run through today's recap with the main issue that we had today with the Ranger. So, we left Kimba this morning. We had a nice little freebie camp there from WikiCamp, which was cool. This is going to annoy the absolute shit out of me until we do something with that in Melbourne, so apologies for the flapping back tailgate window. So we left Kimba this morning. It was a freebie off the WikiCamp Australia app, which is I think a $10 one-off payment, and then you get access to all the sites and stuff that are on there. So we had a freebie this morning at Kimba. We then drove to Port Augusta, through to Adelaide, and then out to Victor Harbour, which is where we are now. So in the scheme of things, it's been one of the shorter days that we've done for driving. So I think it was on paper, about 6 hours worth of actual driving today. Realistically, I think it was closer to 7 or 8 hours total. So that was today's adventure, leaving Kimba, through to Port Augusta, through to Adelaide, into Victor Harbour. Now the issue that we had was on our way from Adelaide through to Victor Harbour, we noticed, Talia and I were just having a conversation in the car about how the journey's going and the things we're going to do, and probably along the lines of everything's running pretty well except for the canopy's back, the back glass and the canopy, that kind of story. And then all of a sudden I was watching the coolant and trans temp start to spiral on the scan gauge. So it started at around 105 and it kept going 110, 11, 12, 13, 14. And for the first time in the 8 or 9 years, probably 9 years now that I've owned the Ranger, is the first time I've ever seen the temperature gauge move from smack bang in the middle. It swung towards the H on the hot side, and I had a no shit moment. So all the bells and whistles on the car come up. I got the alert, the audible sound, the light that comes up on the dash, and I had also the a little notification saying coolant temp overheating or overheated. So immediately hazard lights on. We were already still going uphill at this point. Hazard lights on. The railing for the hill that we were going up had just broken away, and we had a bit of a gap on the side of the road. Pulled into that. I waited about 10 minutes total, popped the hood, had a quick look, make sure nothing had kind of split or that there was no shit everywhere. Had a look under, hadn't dropped any fluid of any sort at that point, which was mint. So we waited on the side of the road there for about 10 minutes to let everything drop below 100 degrees. And then I realized that I left the car in the sports mode. So it was picking its gears as it was going up the hill. And I have a hunch to say that it left itself in 5th gear trying to get up that hill while towing, which is not great. So a bit of a lapse in judgment there from me. But the short of that story was Ranger nearly overheated today. For those that have a Pt.2 Ranger, just to let you know, the magic number is 115 degrees for your coolant temp. Then it will throw a warning light on your dash to say, pull over now before you cook your engine. Do that, don't cook your engine. So I was able to see that stuff with the scan gauge, and I could also see the trans temp as well and see what it was sitting at. So would I buy another one of those? Absolutely. I would spend the $400 to save myself cooking this trans engine, whatever. So I had a greater insight to what was going on. But I was also able to see when it was safe for me to take off again, which I think is a different kettle of fish, because you don't actually know when it's then in a safe zone to take off again. Now, the last 3 days or so that I've done, I've seen the Ranger sit between kind of 85 when it's warming up, 95 is fairly standard. When we're pushing, overtaking, going up hills, that sort of stuff, she gets to about 105 and it cools down real quick. So it'll drop temp again fairly quickly once we hit the decline, or once we take our foot off the gas. It'll drop from that 105 down to about 95 again. However, watching it go from 105, 110 and then creep up to 115, knowing that we still had a long way to go up the hill, it was just amazing to see that I had the scan gauge there to watch and monitor that. I saw it all going up before the alerts came on. I was almost ready to pull off at that point anyway, but all that stuff together, that scan gauge just paid for itself today alone. But not only that, like that 10 minutes, I knew that after 5 minutes, I was able to go and have a look. No, it wasn't quite cool enough yet. It was still at like 105. The trans was like 107 still. Like, nah, I'll just wait a little bit longer. Once the transmission got under 100, the engine had returned to about 95. Went back into drive, pushed it across the sports, and I selected the gears through to 4th, and I stayed in 4th. By doing that, for the rest of that hill, both the trans and the coolant never exceeded 100 degrees. So the difference between 4th and 5th gear, 5th being an overdrive gear and 4th being your last towing gear, I was able to save a lot of heat out of the engine temp. And engine temp is a little bit different because that did creep up, but it also cooled down a lot quicker. But the trans temp never got over 100 when I did the rest of that hill. It peaked at about 98, 99, but it hovered there. It didn't actually like peak past that and keep going like it did when going up the hill in 5th gear. So I think a bit of an oversight there on my behalf, and I would 100% recommend, if you're doing any sort of long distance driving or towing, get yourself a scan gauge. Check out my video on how to install one. Super easy, 10 minutes will get you done. And honestly, you could save yourself your car, your transmission, your engine, whatever, by just putting one in. Knowing what I know now, I would definitely do it again in the next car and the car after. No brainer to me, cheap insurance, as everyone says. And I take that as lightly as possible. Like, I hear people say that all the time. But hands down, I could have cooked my car today, and that $400 piece of equipment definitely saved me in the middle of nowhere, where it would have been really hard to get repaired and back home. We're over 2,000 k's away from home. If I'd have cooked it now, our trip would be done and dusted, and I have no idea how we'd get home.
Welcome to day 4. So day 3's Slaty. It was pretty good looking over that, looking over Victor Harbour. Hey, I couldn't get any shots last night in terms of pictures or anything because we were through the camper's window with the fly mesh and it just blurred everything. So if you want pictures, come out and see it yourself. It's definitely worth coming to see. So today's plan of attack, we are going to drive probably about 6 hours or so to get into Victoria, just out of Melbourne, is the general plan of attack. Slaty's found a couple of WikiCamps using the app that we can camp at tonight. So we're just going to go and check those out and see which one tickles our fancy when we get there. So tomorrow being the 24th, we're going to roll into Melbourne, and then we'll use that day, the full day almost, to unpack, a bit of clean down, get the glass out of the back, put a temporary fix on the back is the plan, and then we'll go from there. So I'm going to grab myself a nice coffee, then I've got to have a shower until he gets back, and then we're going to hit the road and we're going to find camp number 4, or day number 4 rather. So yeah, let's get cracking.
I think I've finally got it. I'd laugh so hard if it's just like a turn right here kind of sign.
Or it's like a town thing.
I think we've got it, guys. I think we've freaking got it after 3 days.
Ooh, is it my favourite one? Drowsy drivers die! That's my favourite one.
This is what I've had to put up with for the last 3 days. Every single, actually probably 2 days since we've entered South Australia.
Yeah.
Every single rest stop sign gets yelled at me like I can't read it myself.
Rest if tired. Survive this drive.
Ah, I hit a bug, didn't?
Stop, revive, survive. That's the one.
That's the one.
Rest if tired.
So aggressive. There you go.
Drowsy drivers die.
Again.
Okay. Survive this drive. Everyone?
We don't make the signs up, guys. She just reads them. Driver swap time. Ow, my head. I said, did you move the chair back for me? But I don't think you did.
No, I didn't.
I thought you might have, but
No.
you're not that kind to me.
Oh, fuck off. You don't move your chair forward for me, do ya? So why would I move it back for you?
So that was a bit anticlimactic.
Yeah, apparently we're in Victoria now.
There wasn't much there, just a sign that says, welcome to Victoria. No stopping, no nothing, you just keep driving.
Barely any signs.
There was a few when you came in to, not to say you're coming into Victoria, no, but when you get in, they give you there's about 8 or 10 signs as you come through, giving you bits of information as you're driving, but...
It's more than what South Australia did.
Yeah, but at least you stopped at South Australia when you got in there.
It's true.
For about 30 seconds. But we are officially in Victoria, so...
We made it!
We made it.
The other side of the country.
After 37 hours and 42 minutes in the car. That's rounded up. So it's 37 hours and 41 minutes in the car so far. 2,838 kilometres from home. And an average fuel consumption at the moment of just under 17 litres per 100, which I think is okay.
Which I think is mainly my driving.
Yeah, I think it is. Every time I get in, it goes up through the roof. I don't know if that's because you just give me the shit roads or I get impatient.
No, I think it's because you get impatient.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be going that fast because the trans temp is too high. It's supposed to be below 100, isn't it?
Nah, anything
And you've got it sitting at 102.
I should be right.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, Victoria, we're parking up somewhere just outside of Ballarat probably tonight, and then we'll take the last couple of hours into Melbourne tomorrow. Cruisy, might swing past the big green shed to sort out some stuff for the back window.
Very much a fan of the Cedar Summit stuff. Very much a fan.
Again, very expensive though.
Yes, but I rate
Shane's birthday present.
it was, and I friggin' rate the gear, hey. Alrighty, just pulled up at the big green shed. We're gonna go get some supplies to try and patch this canopy job that we did. So let's have a look in the big green shed, see if we can find a solution to our smashed glass problem, which is back there. Alrighty, that's close enough. Close enough is good enough in this scenario. Should already trying to bail out of the next piece. Go and sit in the car and get warm.
Thank you.
Jesus. Good help around here is hard to find. Alrighty, one down. So if you're wondering what I'm actually playing with, right, there's a hinge there and a hinge there with glass in between, you can see. So I'm just taking the hinges off so I can drill out some new holes and put the MDF on those hinges. I can mark roughly where the hinges are when it's down. I can just go and then, alright, can you grab me that marker please? Thanks. And the board. And let's try not to fall off this. Hey? No, it's not.
Maybe.
That's the lightest. Is that leaning right on it? Alright. Yeah, we've got to take a little bit more off. Where is it? Oh, it's right there. Alrighty, let's try that again. So, the memory card was full on the camera, so we lost a bit of footage there. Apologies. Running out of space to put stuff. I think we can make that work. Now, how big do these have to be? This in, like so. This in, hopefully, like so. No. I think it's just the lips of these. That'll do it, that'll probably pull tight. Alright, let's go and have a look.
Oh yeah? Alright. If we wet it, would it be?
Maybe. Maybe. It might shape, but for now, that's better than nothing there. Yep, I still don't like that. That needs to bend. Definitely not my proudest DIY job. Board's a bit flat. It needs to be wet out or bent somehow. Flat board on a curving surface. Yeah, I don't want to apply too much pressure because it'll probably snap. So leave it for now. Hopefully a little bit of water and a bit of pressure and we might be able to just mold it. For now, that's good enough. Thank you Big Green Shed for supplying all the stuff, including the car park, to perform the work. We're going to keep moving now and get to our final destination for Victoria. Then unpack, get rid of all the glass, and it's Christmas Eve, so I think we'll just veg out. Alright guys, see you at the next stop.
We made it. We heckin' made it.
Yeah, it's good.
A lot of excess glass and red dust all through the fridge slide, down the side. Alright, let's take it out. Oh, and then
Someone worked really hard on those.
I'll see if I can get this as well. There's also a grim. I'm not going to get this one.
Quick.
I'm trying. Why do they make these things so long? There you go. It says, "Stop flirting with death." That was shit. I'll try and find another one. That was really hard to get off. Oh well, guys, we got it. Woohoo!
And imagine just watching this bloke on YouTube. He's really interesting. You might watch it. He's got this sweet feature on his Ranger where there's like I'm not sure if you can see it there, but he's got like this window. I think that goes across the back or something.